Welcome to the Meditation Realm, Planeswalkers. I'm Caleb, your guide through these blind eternities, and in today's video, we're checking out the Commander Masters deck, the Sliver Swarm. It's been a while since we've seen these baddies return to the multiverse. The Dominaria was their big domination point for a little while, but after Wrath, I believe it was, but we have not seen them in quite a while. I don't know if we'll actually see a story version of them coming back, but we got some sweet new cards to be able to check out with you today. We'll go over some of the new ones and see what great reprints we have. Joy of this is there's definitely a lot of ways to build around slivers. They've printed enough that you can build it basically any way you want. We'll check out, maybe we're lucky and we'll get a foil sliver in here, we can hope, right? That'd be a pretty sweetie. But let's check out the face of the deck. The secondary card, I don't really think you build around for the deck, but the Grave Mother is an easy one here. We have the Sliver Grave Mother. It is a 6/6 sliver for Wooburg. It has the legendary rule does not apply to slivers you control. Each sliver creature card in your graveyard has Encore X, where X is its mana value, and this sliver has Encore 5. Exile this card from your graveyard. For each opponent, create a token that's a copy that attacks that opponent this turn if able. They gain haste. Sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step. Activate only as a sorcery. So this allows you to be able to reanimate your slivers after they've died. The better choice between the two as far as like an out-of-the-face commander deck. And then we have Ruka Ramel, Biologist, another Wooburg. It's a legendary human wizard, 3/3. When she enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Slivers you control and non-token creatures you control are the chosen type in addition to their other creature types. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. You can pay 3 and create a 1/1 colorless sliver creature token. So, like, if you want to do slivers plus another tribe, like, I could see her seeing more play, but to be honest, I really just don't see her seeing a lot of play. She's a 5 color. You can turn everything into something plus their other types, which is kind of like meh, in my opinion, especially because it's 3 mana and then turn it into, you know, like if you choose, let's say, Beast to go with the slivers, because you're running sliver and beast related synergy, she's going to be a human beast wizard, and then you're going to create beast slivers. You're going to spend 3 mana to create 1/1 tokens to trigger with the other stuff. Just go slivers, get rid of her, build around the Grave Mother. Few reprints here, we'll kind of run through these. Wing Sliver, Clot Sliver, you're going to hear sliver a lot in this video. Crypt Sliver, Blade Sliver, Blur Sliver, Bone Splitter, Cleaving, Hollow Head Sliver, Striking Sliver, Two-Headed Sliver, ooh, we got a Cultivate, Farseek, Gemhide Sliver, Mana Weft Sliver, basically same creature, different name. I mean, it does affect your opponents with this one versus only you control with some of these. That's the big difference with these sliver decks. You got to look at where it says all slivers creature gets +2/+2 versus sliver creatures you control have, because that'll be the big difference if you end up playing mirror matches. Because yeah, sometimes, you know, they'll be buffing each other. Ooh, did we get 3 visits and Nature's Lore in the same one? Nice. 3 visits, last I checked, was like an $8 uncommon. That's pretty good. Alright, I know this deck has quite a few good expensive reprints, but we missed on getting a few necessary ones that really should have been in here. Not getting the Sliver Hive land, getting these really crappy fetch lands. Like, the mana base was really off for this deck. Alright, we got our first new sliver. We have the Regal Sliver. It is a 3/3 for 3 and a white. Sliver creatures you control have, when this creature enters the battlefield, slivers you control get +1/+1 until end of turn if you're the monarch. Otherwise, you become the monarch. So this basically just lets you be able to retain the monarch and then buff your board. I can see this seeing a lot of play. Very strong card. For the slivers, anyways. We have a Taunting Sliver. It's a sliver for 3 and a blue. It's a 3/3. Sliver creatures you control have, when this creature enters the battlefield, goad target creature an opponent controls. Being able to goad opponent stuff can definitely get out of hand, force them to attack each other. We have the Titan of Lich Jara. When this Titan enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. It is the chosen type in addition to its other types. And whenever a Titan of Lichara enters the battlefield or attacks, you may draw a card for each other creature card you control that shares a creature type with it. If you do, discard a card. Really strong. So you don't really want to play it by itself, because no matter what type you choose, if it's the only thing on the battlefield, you're just going to not net anything. But, a Sliver deck like this, or, even an elf, blue-green elf deck, you play this, you draw for each other creature you control that shares a type with it. I've seen a lot of play. We have a Lazotep Sliver. Sliver for 3 and a black. It's a 4/4. Slivers you control have Afflict 2. And Afflict, for all you don't remember, is whenever a creature you control with Afflict becomes blocked, defending player loses 2 life. So they're still suffering regardless if they chump block or not. And whenever a non-token Sliver you control dies, amass Slivers 2. So you start making an amassed army. Okay. And then we have a Capricious Sliver, another 4-drop Sliver. For 3 and a red, it's a 3/3. Sliver creatures you control have, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. So this is some of that neat, card advantage, because you get to play from the top of your library. You only have until the end of turn, though, so definitely something where, depending on how many Slivers you have hitting your opponents, you might not be able to play everything, but still it gives you a lot of that card advantage. And Descendant's Fury, this is another interesting one. As an enchantment for 3 and a red, whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you may sacrifice one of them. If you do, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card that shares a creature type with the sacrificed creature. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So you swing with 6 of your Slivers, you hit an opponent, you say sacrifice your worst one, hopefully a token. You reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal another Sliver and put it into the battlefield. Definitely going to be very strong for this deck and some of the other Typal decks. Speaking of being strong for certain Typal decks, we have For the Ancestors. It's an instant. Choose a creature type, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal any number of cards from the chosen types from among them and put the revealed cards into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. And it has flashback for 3 and a green. So it's another one of those things where it's kind of an oddity, because it's a spell that fits only into a heavy creature-based deck, and it's a hard fighting spot for these types of cards. It definitely has the potential to get you a lot of cards. I mean, the ceiling is 6 cards, as far as, like, you can look at the top 6 and you could get 6 Slivers in this. You could also, the floor could be 0. You could hit 3 lands and 2 instants in a sorcery, and you might not get anything. So there's definitely a midpoint to this, and I'm not sure where it's at, if it's just better than a divination or not. I guess math and time will tell where this card lies. And then we have a Hatchery Sliver, another Sliver. This one has Replicate for 1 and a green. It's a 2/2 Sliver. Each Sliver spell you cast has Replicate. The Replicate cost is equal to its mana cost. This guy is going to make Slivers get out of hand quick. This is going to be one of the more expensive ones. Oof, wow, yeah, definitely. This is just going to blow games out of the water. And then we're on to the reprints again. We got Bone Scythe, Sliver, Crushing Nova, Harsh Mercy, Gale Rider Sliver, one of those important flying Slivers, Synapse Sliver, Crippling Fear, I think it's an easy removal there, Siphon Sliver, Spiteful Sliver, Brood Sliver, Gigantic Sliver, Realm Walker, Cloud Shredder Sliver, Decimate, Sliver Hive Lord, another great Sliver, easy commander choice as well, Icon of Ancestry, Vanquisher's Banner, and then the lands. Again, the lands have had a lot to get complained about with this one. We got some mana rocks fixed in at the end. Interesting here. But yeah, a lot of people have said that the lands were not very good. Oh, okay, then we got some more Slivers here. Alright, we got Constricting Sliver, Sentinel Sliver, Sinew Sliver, Diffusion Sliver, a Distant Melody, a Shifting Sliver, Windfall, yeah, draw. And then we're on to the rest of the lands. Yes, okay. A lot of these come into play tapped lands. It gave us all the, again, expected to have a lot of come into play tapped lands. It gave us all the tri lands, but it gave us all these come into play tapped fetch lands, which are just, they're not very good. And, you know, this mana base is really, really slow and just kind of underwhelming for being a 50, you know, or not even being a $50 deck, you know. It's one of the more expensive commander decks with this whole thing. You know, some of these are going for north of 100 on, depending on where you're at with TCG Player and some of these other sites. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 basics in a 5-color deck too. Like a 30 or lands or basics. I don't know. I think Wizards can do a little bit better with the mana bases when you're paying for premium products like these. I believe Tolarian Academy said this was the first time that he gave these whole things a fail grade as far as recommending for new players to pick it up as far as financial value. It's disappointing. Some good cards here, but disappointing value overall. Let's see if we can get something sweet here. Make up for some value loss. We got a rare. We got Azusa, Lost but Seeking. And that portrait frame. That is some just beautiful artwork. Absolutely. And then we got Nadira's Nightblade. Nice. Good common, good rare. Both see a lot of play. Thank you for joining me, Planeswalkers. Always glad to have you here. Like, share, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you here on the next video.